When people hear the word dinosaur, their mind snaps immediately to teeth, rows of serrated blades, dripping blood, predators built to hunt. Herbivores, on the other hand, get filed away as peaceful giants, leaf eaters, living tanks that only exist to be hunted. But nature doesn't work in clean categories. Some of the most heavily armored, aggressive dinosaurs that ever walked the earth may not have been strict vegetarians at all. In the modern world, animals we swear are plant eaters regularly eat meat. Deers gnaw on bones, hippos consume other animals, and cattle will scavenge carcasses when given the chance. Survival rewrites the menu. Before we dive into the fossil record, let's first look at living herbivores that sometimes go carnivorous. These cases set the stage and demonstrate a plausible motive for similar behaviors in dinosaurs. White-tailed deer have been documented raiding bird nests and eating hatchlings. In one study, deer were observed snatching live birds from nests and even outcompeting foxes and weasels as nest predators. Biologists speculate deer do this when their diet lacks certain nutrients. For instance, red deer on Scottish islands have been seen eating seabird chicks, possibly to get extra protein and minerals needed to grow their antlers. It's a surprise coming from an animal we imagine as timid herbivores. Domesticated herbivores like cattle and sheep typically graze on grass, yet farmers and scientists have noted them gnawing on bones or carrion when nutrient stressed. This behavior, called osteophagy, is a way to supplement minerals that their plant diet might lack. A cow chewing on animal bones in a pasture is basically self-medicating a mineral deficiency. A gruesome supplement regimen, but an effective one. The hippopotamus, despite its huge grinding teeth for plants, has a dark reputation as an occasional carnivore. Field reports and research that show that hippos will scavenge carcasses, steal prey from crocodiles, and even hunt other animals, including impalas, zebras, and other hippos, when given the chance. These incidents aren't just one or two weird hippos. They've been observed across the hippos range. Biologists suggest that while hippos are built for grazing, their sheer size and aggressive temperament mean they can hunt and eat creatures if motivated, and they often do so at night. This shows that even a textbook herbivore can become capable meat eater. Like I stated before, why these plant eaters usually do this is usually nutrition deficiency. Plants can be low in certain crucial elements like protein, salt, calcium, and phosphorus. Eating a bit of meat, bone, or shell can provide a concentrated dose of nutrients that the animal desperately needs. It's not that deer have a secret lust for blood or that cows suddenly crave steak. Rather, it's natural selection, and sometimes the quickest source is another animal. And it's pretty reasonable to think that dinosaurs could have done the same. Paleontologists have long interfered dinosaurs' diets from their teeth and jaws. Sharp serrated teeth usually mean a carnivore, while flat teeth or beaks might mean a plant eater. For the most part, this holds true, but recent discoveries have started to blur these neat categories, revealing that some herbivorous dinosaurs occasionally cheated on their vegetarian diets. The clearest evidence comes from an unlikely source: fossilized dinosaur droppings. A discovery was made by Karen Chin, a paleontologist who specialized in dinosaur coprolites. In the Badlands of Montana and Utah, Chin and colleagues unearthed 75-million-year-old coprolites that turned out to be a full surprise. These fossil dung specimens, likely deposited by large plant-eating dinosaurs, contain heaps of rotten wood mixed with fragments of crustacean shells. In a 2017 study, the research team reported finding bits of fossilized crab or crayfish shell in at least 10 different coprolite samples, spread over a wide area. This wasn't a one-off fluke. It appears that some late Cretaceous herbivores were repeatedly munching rotting logs and the crunchy critters hiding inside. Now, why would a duck-billed dinosaur known as hadrosaurs be eating crustaceans? These coprolites were jam-packed with decayed wood, suggesting the dinosaurs were actively ripping into rotten logs, likely searching for insects, grubs, or fungus as a protein supplement. In the process, they also gobbled small crustaceans inhabiting the wood. The shell pieces were relatively large, around 5 centimeters or a couple of inches, too big to have been swallowed by accident, or incidentally inhaled while chomping plants. In fact, some shell fragments were about half the width of a hadrosaur's beak, meaning the dinosaur probably knew it was ingesting something crunchy or went for it on purpose. This feeding strategy might have been seasonal. The scientists propose it happened during the breeding season when female dinosaurs needed extra calcium and protein to form eggs and nourish developing embryos. In other words, just as modern birds or deers seek high-calcium snacks during reproduction, these dinosaurs may have turned to seafood and insect larvae. Coprolites aren't the only hint. Dinosaur anatomy sometimes also whispers that a herbivore might have been an occasional carnivore. A stunning example emerged in 2018 regarding Pachycephalosaurus, the dome-headed dinosaur often portrayed as a strict plant eater. Paleontologists recovered the most complete Pachycephalosaurus jaw ever found, including the front of the mouth, which had never been seen before in this species. To their shock, their front jaw was lined with sharp, triangular serrated teeth that looked just like a little T-Rex's teeth. Behind those were the typical broadleaf-shaped molars for grinding plants, but presence of steak knife teeth at the front suggests Pachycephalosaurus was not a pure vegetarian. Why would a vegetarian dinosaur need teeth like this? As one scientist quipped, they must have been eating some kind of meat. Why else would you have steak knives in the front of your mouth? Researchers speculate that Pachycephalosaurus, especially juveniles, could have been omnivorous, perhaps snapping up small critters like lizards, frogs, or baby dinosaurs, in addition to browsing on fruits and ferns. It may even have changed its diet with the seasons. A plant-heavy menu most of the time, but a taste for meat when resources were scarce during growth spurts. This finding is intriguing because it challenges the tidy labels we use for dinosaurs. Scientists often choose species as herbivore or carnivore, but in real life, it isn't always so clear-cut. Just as our herbivores sometimes reveal a hidden dark side to their diets, the extinct giants of the past were not above bending the rules. Importantly, none of this means that hadrosaurs were prowling the Cretaceous swamps as dedicated hunters, or that every stegosaurus had a taste for meat. These were still predominantly plant-eating animals. Their adaptations, teeth, stomachs, behavior were all geared towards vegetation. However, life in the wild is about opportunism and adaptability. A nutrient boost from a bit of meat could spell the difference between life and death. So even when the stakes were high, even these gentle giants could get their hands dirty. In the end, the theory that herbivorous dinosaurs occasionally consumed meat is both exciting and a little terrifying. It reminds us that prehistoric ecosystems were complex and that dinosaurs, far from being static icons, were living creatures with quirks and survival strategies akin to modern animals. Next time you picture a towering sauropod or a horned triceratops, that once in a blue moon it might have indulged in a delicate, non-vegetarian meal. The past, like the present, was full of surprises, some of them not for the squeamish.